Very warm welcome to everyone here. And it's a very nice weather outside since it's drizzling since morning and clouds are on the head of Delhi now. So again, a warm welcome to everybody and request 15 minutes patience from you to listen to me and what new innovations at Dell we have done in the technology portfolio that we have. So may I have the slides running, please? So a quick talk about why Dell Technologies. So when we look at the entire portfolio around storage technologies that we have and in the market, the total addressable market globally we have is close to $31 billion. So this is in correlation to the inputs given by the various panelists here that how data is booming across the globe. And when we look at past 2 years, the data has grown like anything. So when data challenges comes, the OEMs thwarts onto the new technologies to suppress those challenges faced by the customers. And when we look at the entire Dell portfolio, we drive close to 27.5% of external storage market, placed as number one. And in detail further we look at, we are present in all the segments. Hello. Sorry for the interruption. So when we look at the data protection portfolio, we have our number one solution, which is Power Protect, which is complemented by the software as well and the appliance setup. And when we look at file and object portfolio, where we have unstructured data and more long-term archival solutions that we always look at, comes with PowerScale and the Elastic Cloud Storage. VxRail is a number one hyperconverged solution that we have, and it's a co-engineered solution with VMware platform. PowerFlex is a software-defined architecture, which is a bare metal setup when we work in a multi-hypervisor environment and primarily which is non-VMware kind of setup. Apart from that, we have high availability solutions with zero downtime typically, and all flash scenario are the latest technologies around NVMe or storage class memory, which reduces the latency and increases the efficiency around read and write that one look at the storage portfolio. When we look at the solutions that we drive, so what we have observed in last 2-3 years, because of various inflations, various roadblocks to the business because of pandemic and all, there was a crunch on the capex with the customers. But since the panelist says that data remains, keep on growing, so in that scenario we have launched the solution which we call Apex as a Service, which is based on a typical business model that how to consume the setup that you create. And the business modeling is all about pay-per-use model. So here there is no compromise on the technology part. The technology remains with you the way you decide. It provides the similar agility, flexibility, growth, availability, all those parameters in terms of performance and availability are catered for. But it is just purely a consumption-based model. Apart from that, multi-cloud solutions, which I am going to talk about a bit in detail, with some use case also which I am going to share with you, that how we help one of our customers to navigate between multiple clouds. So idea is that we as a OEM also evolving along with the customer's requirement and the expectations. When we look at our landscape and the industry leadership, we are across all the segments. So when a customer walks into us and asks for some use cases or wants to share our experience with them, we have all those cases available to us. So workload churn is a reality for any environment. We all know there are various kind of workload, they are growing, spread across various environment, whether it is the on-prem non-cloud setup, which is an hosted private cloud, on-prem private cloud, or maybe a public cloud. So the truth or the reality now which has evolved, that multi-cloud is going to stay there. We somehow are navigating between various clouds. Initially it started with private cloud, then public cloud evolved, then people started working in a hybrid cloud environment. So further growth has gone up, and it is all because of the data which is booming like anything. That is one point. Second, the merger and acquisition. Today you are an established organization and you are going to take over a startup organization. So how to manage those workloads? Because a startup might be already on a public cloud and you are on an on-prem setup, right? And similarly, if you keep on doing the business the same way, then there would be a heterogeneous environment for various kind of workloads as well as the hardware that you deal with. So challenges comes with that kind of multi-cloud complexity. Whether it is, we talk about the managing the cloud spend, the cost of A cloud versus cost of B cloud, cost of C cloud. I mean, that jugglery of finances and the management of OpEx becomes a challenge with the customer. Apart from that, operational and data silos. So there would be an issue in managing. Everybody is giving a different set of availability to you, the backup policies, the security governance, and another thing, you can't have all-rounders for all the clouds with you. So there is a skill gap is also an issue. You have experts on the AWS, but you may not have on Azure, right? And of course the local data security and governance models. What to be kept within your premise and what to be kept as a long-term archival or a storage outside on a public cloud. And time to market. So when a developer works on certain tools and create an application for you, the major challenge comes to him is whether those tools are available or those utilities are available or not, or whether he has to pick those services from AWS or pick those services from Azure. So there is no common marketplace available. You have to keep shuttling between those marketplaces to pick up those APIs. Further detail, this is how they are not talking to each other. It's a simple chart, speaks about that if you are getting any data on the edge and it is not talking to your on-prem because of heterogeneous environment. So you need something which gives you a single data plane. So you have data plane on-prem and then you create an application plane which is running on the cloud, right? How to make it simple? We call it unify your multi-cloud setup. So you create one single lifecycle management tool so that you can navigate on-prem, public, edge or colo. That gives you flexibility. You can leverage the same skill sets across the various heterogeneous cloud environment that you are going to work upon, right? And it gives you a single dashboard to have a predictable pricing. It is like converging all costs together and then you understand what is your monthly OpEx payout to the service providers, right? And it helps you to simplify your data security. So you can create this multi-cloud setup, and I'm going to talk about a case study where how did we do in a layman terms that what was the existing setup and what was a future state requirement from the customer, and how did we manage that in various phases. So when we take that phase-wise approach, you can manage your finances, you can manage your project planning, you can manage your resources, and then time to market becomes easy for you. So before that, going to talk about few major considerations, that what was the requirement. So there was a desire to move to a cloud operating model. Why? They wanted to improve agility, they want to reduce complexity of managing day-to-day operations across compute, storage and network. and reduce on-prem DC footprint. See, real estate is also coming at a very higher cost. You want to expand your resources or you want to expand your infra. That balance has to be taken care by the CIOs and CTOs. It's not a big thing to do. But again, a challenge, if you put all eggs in one basket approach, and this is multi-year, multi-stage journey involving. So that planning is key to it. So what we decided that let's do a phase migration of the workloads, clearly differentiating between which can be done on cloud and which is not cloud native. So that demarcation of the various platforms has to be done. Then let's not get fear factor with the refactoring or repatriation. Whatever you want to repatriate from the cloud has to be done. And whatever has to be refactored and a cloud native setup has to go on cloud. So those things has to be defined in a way. So that gives you a clear picture that what is going to be there on the cloud and what is going to be there on-prem and how are we define the strategy to manage that setup. And without compromising the performance, availability or the data services. I'll give you a small example. Few of the cloud service provider, when we talk about the data services around storage or the archival, they do not provide encryption or the dedupe, those kind of setups, because those egress costs are hidden cost available. But here the control is with you. And of course, it will help us to understand which infrastructure needs a tech refresh, which cannot be maintained further. So in totality, these are the few bullet points has to be considered when you are looking for creating a unified multi-cloud setup for your organization. Few more considerations. We all understand that not all workloads are equal. So workload analysis is a key criteria to understand here. Whether if that particular, say for the sake of discussion, if I run a VDI setup on-prem versus cloud, the latency would be lesser on the on-prem setup, but on the cloud it would be more, right? So that kind of segregation is very much important. And not all applications require a suitable public cloud. Means you can't run everything on the public cloud. So the solution has to be taken care in a way that it should fit for the right purpose that you have aligned for. And of course, workload mobility between on-prem and public cloud is a must. And this is why we choose a multi-cloud environment for us. Can you check this is not moving? Excuse me. It's not working now. I need to. So I'm going to talk about in general. If you have any query as of now, I'll take this time because of this technical glitch. Extremely sorry for that. But I need to understand if you have any queries which I can address so far, whatever I have spoken to you people. Thank you. Thank you. So basically, this is how we have architectured the thing, that this was a current state where a customer was working on a old Sun Solaris setup. So they had certain Spark servers with them, then few PowerEdge blades from Dell and PowerEdge Rackman servers with them. And there was a huge storage VMAX model, and then the archival solution for file and backup. So this customer wanted that how can I navigate to a multi-cloud environment without disrupting my setup. And what was his requirement? So he wanted to have a common platform where he can have multi-hypervisor environment. He wanted his entire setup to be software defined, whether it is compute, network or storage. They wanted to simplify their operations and have a full stack lifecycle management. Because if you see, the lifecycle management for this setup is different, this is different, this is different. So you were managing multiple dashboards. And how can you maintain the tier 1 data services? This is for the mission critical workloads where he can't do encryption or dedupe or data reduction. And of course, he wanted a cost effective scaling. This is what a buzzword around the cloud solution provider, that whenever you want to scale up, just put up a resource requirement and you can immediately go up, right? And then of course, workload mobility tiering to public cloud. He can navigate his workload from native to the cloud and simultaneously managing the performance for the extreme workloads. Whenever a peak high, there is a peak workload happening because of the services that you run for your organization. So these were the thought process behind that what a next generation architecture would be. So let's see how did we do it. So the phase 1 was, we introduced PowerFlex. So it was a bare metal architecture requirement which can have a software defined storage, as well as he was looking for a scalability and agility. So this meets that requirement, and of course software defined architecture. What we did, we moved all the VMware apps, hypervisors and Windows bare metal SRM collector to this. So these workloads were moved to PowerFlex. Next, so what did we achieve with this? That's important to understand. So we got a common platform integrated for various workloads that we speak about. It was software defined, giving a cloud-like operation on-prem. Simplified our operations for a analytics driven proactive monitoring and entire life cycle management. And then of course, cost effective scaling. So it's like growing from 2U to 4U or to 6U without any disruption coming into picture. Then what was there in terms of storage, which is more efficient or performing storage in terms of read and write, as well as the latency level has to go down. And if you look at the footprint, this is how happens over the years, how technology changes. So you can end up not only saving your facility sizing or the facility footprint, but you can reduce your power and cooling bills also. What did we migrate? We migrated all the legacy apps on this. So here we got the virtualized setup here, and we got all the legacy apps here. What did we achieve? We got a sync replication for mission critical workloads which we wanted to keep on-prem. Then again it gives you a single drive upgrade, hot swap upgrades available, better performance and a smaller DC footprint that I spoke about. And when we look at the file loads, the PowerScale fits into picture. An entire setup, whether it is storage or data protection or the hyper-converged environment, servers, everything is monitored through a single dashboard which is Cloud IQ. You can mobilize your dashboards, mobilize your workloads or the resources accordingly. Next stage was for the workload migration coming, that how I can converge this compute with my storage setup in terms of data archival. So it will support the workload mobility tiering to the public cloud through this setup, and then maintain improves performance for the extreme workloads. And the best part is This thing is SAP and Oracle certified. Now, how do we navigate with the public cloud? So all these devices that I have mentioned, they come with cloud mobility. You can throw the snapshots to the cloud, whether it is AWS or whether it is Azure. So you can see this single setup is talking to two clouds, two public clouds, I would say that, right? And then you can do the archival here with the EC2. So whatever is non-critical, you want to move to a cloud for a long-term archival, you can still manage those services. And it gives you that marketplace also. Any services you want to take from cloud and develop your workloads or develop your applications can be managed here. Another thing comes, we talk about Google, right? So what's different happens now? This is what. So you have PowerFlex talking to Azure and AWS, and then your PowerScale throwing the snapshots to the Google Cloud and the Azure. So this is how you are managing the agility, cloud tiering, and uptime for all the workloads that you are running, and the accessibility at real time. And this will help you to refactor your Intel-based computer and containerized application, because you can run your containerized application on PowerMax itself. Right? I'll not take much time, and it will help you to disaster recovery or workload mobility and all those things. And this becomes your final state. This migration was done on a zero downtime. So you can see, if we do a plan and take a phase-wise approach with right solutions into picture, it will help you to manage. So now we don't call multi-cloud is complex. It is up to us. If we do the right planning in a right manner, we can make this multi-cloud management easy for us and work in a unified multi-cloud environment. So this was from my side. I'm around here. Any questions regarding this? I'm accessible to you people. Let me know. Thank you very much.